Good morning and welcome to this Bitcoin price analysis. It is the 1st of April 2024. It is 9:32 in the morning and this video does not contain an April Fool's joke. With that said, what you see on the screen right now is the price of gold. This video is not about the price analysis of gold, but you can see that it is pumping again. And if gold is pumping again, Bitcoin normally follows. So with that said, let's skip straight over to the Bitcoin chart instead. Now, but before we get into the price analysis of this one for today, I just want to remind you that first of all, my name is David Thorne. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a professional trader. I am literally just a person sat in front of a TV screen or a monitor talking to a microphone about the movement in price of Bitcoin with regards to my own portfolio or the portfolio from my wife and myself. So if you do want to listen in, then feel free to listen in. But remember, this is me talking about my money and my investments. But you are more than welcome to listen to what I've got and then do your own due diligence upon what you are or aren't going to do with your investments, right? Now, if you haven't watched any of my other videos so far, I've got a whole bunch of Bitcoin price analysis videos where I go over the price of Bitcoin on a daily basis. I go all the way from the weekly all the way down to the 1 minute view to look at how the price moved yesterday, how the price is moving today, and what I think it's going to do over the coming course of the 24 hours. Now, this is not going to be any technical analysis. This is just me looking at what I think is going to happen. All right. So if you want to watch, then feel free to watch. If you want to see where I got my trading indicators from, it's called DJ Thorne Trading Indicators. And if you look at the my channel, you'll see there's information all about it. With that said, let's jump straight into the analysis of Bitcoin. So the monthly candle, let's just have a quick look at that. Monthly candle closed strong, and now we're on obviously the new month, but we're not going to be looking at that. We're just going to be looking at the weekly candle. The weekly candle obviously as well closed strong. Right now we can see that we've got, just on the opening 9 hours and 35 minutes, we've got nearly at least a 50% correction or retracement on it. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's good that it's come back and made a correction on that week already, so we know that we don't have to worry about any corrections for this week, so we can have higher prices knowing that a correction has happened on this price. So we know there's some form of the prices here have been balanced at least. Now we see it's a dark grey candle, so there wasn't like extreme amounts of volume on this week compared to the blue candle there. So at least we know, have we had a correction for this week? Yes, we have. So it's a little bit healthy. Let's skip now down into the daily market, the daily charts. And as you can see, yesterday we had a nice movement upwards, but it just didn't have the strength. It didn't have the strength to push through, So even though it closed outside of the 5, the 8, the 15, it just didn't have the strength to make proper new highs. Even though it did pass by these previous ones, there just wasn't the volume there. There wasn't the backing there to really push it to big highs, even though it had some good movement. And what do we have in the end? We had like a 1,566 euro movement. It's just not enough. And you can see that with today, that there's either someone just selling off, just to take profits and so on. But let's move on now to, we can see now that the sell-off has basically taken away all profits from yesterday. And are we going to see this come back again and then make new highs today? I don't know. With Bitcoin can do absolutely anything. You can see here we've had previous candles that look like that. So we can't say no to it. But what we can do is we can move on to the 4-hour charts. So the 4-hour chart, we can see that it had that move up yesterday, or it had that move up on Sunday, and it tried, but there's no conviction there. It had the first candle, there was some conviction. The second candle, it kind of like, I don't have the strength to do it, and then just the sell-off just started happening over the night time and went down, and it just continued on. However, the good news is that it's come back down to the 50. So we've seen at least a little bit of equilibrium prices here. You know, I'm not saying it's totally, but at least we saw it come back down to the 50 a little bit. So that's some good news, right? We know that the price is not going to be overbought in this region, right? But we seem to be starting some form of range here, all right? So the question is this the bottom of the range, and are we going to see this bouncing up and down for the space of a couple of days, or are we going to see movement straight up, or are we going to see movement down to here or touching then to try and test the 200? My bets are on the 200 personally. I would expect to see it come down to here, and otherwise I'd expect the 200 to come and meet this price. So it's either going to be a quick shock down to the 200, or it's going to be a long slow ride for the 200 to come up to the price. But my money for future David is on the price coming down to the 200. All right, but let's keep moving on to the 1 hour market. And as we can see, the prices have gone down to the 200 on here. The question is, does it come and test the 300? And is this just a short correction of this red candle, ready to make new lows as well? We can see. So let's try and go with the market right now, and the market is kind of telling us that it wants to go down. All right, the 5, the 8, and the 15 are all inverted, and we've now got the 15 pushing underneath the 50. Obviously, the 5 and the 8 have already gone beneath the 50. We've got prices out or below the 5, the 8, and the 15 and the 50 already. So the question is, if the 15 pushes below the 50, then I would assume we're going to see lower prices. But we don't have any like oversold signals as of yet. So that's a good thing. So it has got. There is room for movement going down, and I think it's healthy if we come and test this lower boundary of this one range. Let's move then into the half an hour market. So, but what we can see here is we can see the 5, the 8, and the 15. The 5 is starting to slow down, right? So we might see that it bends a little bit and then tries to maybe come and test the 8. And if that happens, then we would expect the 8 to test the 15. But I would expect that, you know, in this half an hour, we might see this green candle, because we want to see like at least 50% of this green candle like cleared again to come back to it. So I would expect the prices are going to come down, say 64,462 at least. So let's say, to look at the minute market, we would expect it to come here, and then we would expect this green candle to be tested here as well. And this is going to be obviously more interesting when we go down to the smaller time frames. And obviously the place where we would expect it to come and test is either here and or here, first of all. So let's keep moving down, and as we can see, it's pushing down already. Okay, so let's have a look. And if this turns red, we would expect it to come back up. At the moment it's maroon. We would expect it to come back up again. So the prices right now, we can see the 5, the 8, and the 15. We've had that bend round on the 5, but now it looks like it's continuing back down again. So it looks like this was just a short correction to do further lower prices. I'm not going to be optimistic that this is going to make a quick price reversal back upwards again. I would say there are still people wanting to see lower prices on this. So let's move with the market. Don't be a contrarian. You know, if you want to buy into this for prices to go back up again, this is definitely a lower price of Bitcoin, but I would expect lower prices, to be honest with you. So let's move into the 5 minutes and see what picture this is painting. All right, so we saw the 5, the 8 come and try and test the 15. We got prices above the 15, but now we can see that prices are below the 5, below the 8, and below the 15. With the likelihood it's going to come and test this now. What was a previous resistance zone is now a support zone. So if it does break through, and I would expect it will break through as well, then we should expect it coming down to the first line here. And I'm pretty certain that we are going to see it come back down to the 63.9 or 64 or whatever, and it could go have a little bit of a sideways motion here, or it could just say, hey, you know what, I'm going straight through and down. But the faster it goes down, the faster it will come back up again. If it just simmers along here, going sideways for what have we got, Monday, so say like 3 o'clock, we could see that, or we could see it come down here and then go sideways for the rest of the day and the evening. But we can see right now it looks like it's going to take the quick route, to be honest with you. So let's go down to the minutes here, and we're making good time at the moment. Right, so we can see that we've got lower prices, 5, 8, 15 and 50, and obviously the other ones here. But is there looking like there's any strength for it to go down? Right now you see the 5 is kind of it's kind of trying to bend up again, all right? And we've got this green candle here. It's trying to bend up again. So it will really need to come and test this 50 first of all. So I'd say price has got to come back up, test this 50, which really could be like this line here, because this is now like a support line. Sorry, resistance line here. But it looks like it's going to continue down. The maroon colors is a little bit stronger volume, but it looks like it's going to come and test this line now, and then we can see this is another possible support zone that it's got to test beforehand. Remember, these colors are just completely arbitrary of these lines. They don't mean anything apart from it being a line. Anyway, so I would expect the prices to come down. Now, with that said, I do my own retrospective upon my video. So this morning I did spend time watching my price analysis from yesterday and also the day before to see which areas I've got wrong, to see which areas I could have improved upon. So and I've started my main focus now is. Let's come out to the 4-hour market, because it's easier to see like this. So let's get rid of all these lines. Here is my philosophy, right? Here is my philosophy. When we look at this price, the 15,000, okay? So this is a zone to look at, and let's call it, this is a zone to look at, right? The two tops. These should be contrarian times. You should be against what the rest of the market thinks. Everyone's got fear here and everyone's got greed here. So this is the time when everyone else has got fear, you should have greed. And when everyone else has got greed, you should have fear and start selling off, right? However, what we don't know right now is whether or not this is the top. We know this is the bottom for this one period, but we don't know whether this is the top. So what we do know is this is a part of the middle, part of the journey, right? So you should go with the flow. And the market is the master. This is the main thing I'm trying to say. The market is the master. And right now we need to listen to the market, because it is the master. And if the master is saying we're going to make higher prices, I want to make higher prices, then so be it, all right? We're going to respect the master. Now, what we should be doing, though, is being cautious. We shouldn't doubt the master. We should just be cautious. If it does make a new spike, then let's just go with it. And let's say, okay, it's fine. It's going to make new highs. But it's wrong to be a contrarian right now, because if the price does snap back, then you were a cautious contrarian who got it possibly correct. But to be a contrarian that is in denial, to say, no, the price is going to go down, price is going to go down, right? Go with the market. Let the master tell you where it's going to go, right? And this is the main thing. And if there's lots of people saying it's going to the moon, it's going to the moon, it's going to the moon, and that's the only thing that you ever hear from them, and when it corrects, they say, oh yeah, it's going to the moon still, right? This is, they're singing off the same song sheet all the time. What my ruling, what my advice for me is, and if you want to listen to it, is that when the herd is moving, be with the herd, right? But we need to be cautious, and we need to be cautious with our investing. But we also need to make sure that we are selling and taking profits. Only the people who sell Bitcoin are the ones that make profits. The ones who buy it, they can say they've got ownership, but you only make money when you sell Bitcoin, okay? But the question is how much you sell and when you sell it. But this is not this is not for the video, right? But my point is right now is that our mentality, if you want to call us as a channel, as a group of people watching these videos, is our mentality is expecting higher prices because that's what the market says it wants to do, right? But we need to be ready for a correction. And when it does have a correction, a good correction, we need to be ready to pounce. And especially for me, the pouncing point is down here really. This would be the initial part of me thinking, okay, this is where I'm going to start putting my contrarian hat on here. All right, but I mean, this is like a full-on contrarian hat which I'm going to put on there. Right now I'm putting on a cautious, go with the market, go with the flow hat. Have I had this mentality over this past journey? No, but I'm learning this. I'm learning this, and this is the whole point of doing these videos. Is it's a learning process, and this has not happened very often. This whole process has only happened really a couple of times, and it doesn't happen every single week. It happens like every couple of years. So we've got to learn from this as we go along. It's got to be dynamic. It's got to be on a daily, weekly basis that we update our mentality based upon how the market or our master is. So with that said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all of the normal social media things. And please remember, I'm doing this for free. And, I just want a like. That's all I'm asking for. Even a comment saying thank you, or even a comment saying it's shit or whatever. I don't care. Just give me a comment or give me a like, because then I know you're watching, right? And remember, I'm doing this for myself. And if you do get something out of these videos, then it's brilliant. And I'm really happy that you did. If you didn't, then try and find another channel. It's okay. But maybe over time I do get better, and my content will get better. With that said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video on the 2nd of April. Ciao, ciao, and bye-bye.